Really a weird thing to say, but I would actually say that I have felt safer being single than when I was as a couple. Fears, which I can't actually tell you what my fears were. Because if you don't know, Ghana is very male dominated, right? What do you know? You're a woman. My friend go to the kitchen and cook. I have been ripped off because the fact that I'm a woman. It's better if a man fronts for you. Sometimes when you're a woman, you also get advantage to certain things. Let's not forget that part too. Because it does buy you certain favors, right? Because Ghanaian men can be very gentlemanly. Ask for something to be done a certain way and then like, oh, where's your husband? Things. If you don't know certain areas, don't go and take yourself there because Hey guys, welcome back. All right, in today's video, I want to talk about what it's like to be a single female living in Ghana alone. Okay, now I don't know if I call it a privilege or what, but I've had I've had the opportunity to see both sides, right? I've had the opportunity to see what it's like here when you are a couple, and I've had now the opportunity to see what it's like being single. And honestly, when it comes to, okay, let's start on the safety aspect first, right? When it comes to safety in Ghana, I would actually say this, which is really a weird thing to say, but I would actually say that I have felt safer being single than when I was as a couple. Now, part of that might have been because, being single now, I am a lot more out there, right? I'm seeing a lot more things. I'm doing a lot more things by myself. So perhaps that's a factor in, okay, well, maybe I've surpassed some of my fears, which I can't actually tell you what my fears were, but I feel very comfortable, you know. I have the ability to go out in the middle of the night. I've done it before, do you know what I mean? Like come back at whatever time. You know, I've been able to do those things as a single woman and I've never felt fear. I've come home in an Uber like 4 a.m. and I've never felt any type of way like, oh my gosh, let me hurry up and open the gate. Like I've never felt anything like that. Now I have heard of some people running into some problems, but I personally have never been here. Like I said, I've been here 11 years now. I've never had any type of issue, and I've never even been close to one where I kind of felt threatened or uncomfortable about something. That safety aspect in that way, I've never experienced that. What I will say is navigating Ghana as a single woman can be tricky though, because if you don't know, Ghana is very male dominated, right? And so women are very much secondary when it comes to certain things. And so you definitely feel that. I think that's probably a big wake-up call when you come here. You definitely feel the fact that some men, not all men, some men won't respect you in the same way that they would respect men that are around you, right? So, you know, if I talk about construction, for example, right? You've seen me do the construction project, trying to build my house. It has been frustrating sometimes. I have been fortunate to not have to deal with too many problems because the person that was doing the construction for me, we'd build up a relationship for many years. And so that made it easier, but that still didn't mean it was without its struggles. You saw the video where, you know, I got this company to bring me some blocks, right? And they put the blocks on the outside of the house. And I was like, why are you putting on the outside of the house? Like someone might take them. Can you put them inside? And they were like, sorry, they're offloading the blocks and they're trying to leave it outside the gate. I said, you're not leaving the blocks outside. They have to bring the blocks inside. You can't leave the blocks outside. Somebody will take it. The blocks have to come inside. Are you bringing it in? Sorry? You'll bring it in. So yeah, trying to leave the blocks outside the front of the gate. Like, hell no, I'm not paying for no blocks for someone to even steal one. What? Mad? No, that ain't happening. So, I'm not filled with 100% confidence right now because I've asked him if they're bringing it in. He said, oh yeah, we'll bring it in. But it's almost like he just wants to get it off the truck and do what he's got to do. But I ain't having that. Like, you need to bring it inside. Who's going to pay for blocks and leave them outside so I can wake up in the morning and they're all gone? And then when that happens and I say it, people will be like, oh, you're so dumb for leaving it outside the gate in the first place. Like, hell no. Bring the stuff inside. I don't care. You see why I get vexed, yeah? Because people are just so ignorant, right? You say that you don't want the blocks outside. Why would I want to leave the blocks outside the front gate? They said don't move it, and now they're not moving. They've driven off. So, I do like to think of myself as a nice, calm person. But, you know, occasionally, don't test your luck. Don't try it. Like, why are people like this? I mean, the things that they do is just not fair. So I asked him, I said to him, so can you bring it inside? We'll do it. But meanwhile, they're still offloading, right, at the front of the house. He's like, we'll do it. Okay. So then he's offloaded everything on the back of the truck. And I'm like, so are you going to bring it in? He's not minding me. Lord, sometimes, right, when you want to do this stuff when you're a woman, it's not the easiest thing to do because they just don't respect you. What can you do? So he's just ignoring me. And then he tells the guy, it's not their work, it's not their job, basically. They've done their job, they brought the blocks, whether it's outside or what, telling me that no one will steal it. You can't guarantee me, if you're telling me that no one will steal it, leave your phone, leave your wallet, leave everything here, and if they steal it, I'll sell your stuff and pay for my blocks to be thing. But they won't do that though, will they? They won't do that though, will they? No, they won't. So now this one guy is left to bring all the blocks in by himself, which is it's so unfair. I mean, so he has to get the barrel and bring the blocks in. Like, I feel like I'm the one now that's punishing him, but it's not my fault because they should have done it. There was 3 of them and they don't want to bring it in just bring it to the other side of the gate. It's not even like you have to bring it in and walk some far place. Bring it to the other side of the gate, but they won't do it. But I'm pretty sure that if I was a man and I would have said, no, bring the blocks inside, they would have brought the blocks inside, but they left them outside. And it was just so frustrating. So little things like that. And you can tell that when you say to some of them, no, I don't want it that way. Can you do it this way? They have a problem with it. Not just because you're telling them to do their job differently, maybe a part of that, but also the fact that, what do you know? You're a woman. My friend, go to the kitchen and cook. It's kind of like that sort of attitude. And so, you know, you see me with the painter that I have, like he hasn't come back to finish off a job. Granted, that does happen to men as well. But there's been lots of back and forth. Even up to today, he still hasn't come to finish it. Do you know what I'm saying? Every day, I promise, I'm coming. And he still hasn't come. But I believe anyway, that if I was a man, it would have been done. There probably still would have been a delay, but it would have been done. And so it's frustrating. It's frustrating because sometimes you get ripped off unnecessarily. You know, the times when I had my water tank leaking, I call the guys to come and do it, and then there's a problem. You know, I know that I've been ripped off. You know, do you know what I'm saying? I know that I have been ripped off because the fact that I'm a woman. There's nothing that I can do about it. I have no proof to say, well, if I was a man, you would have said this, or you would have charged me this and not this. I have no proof of those things, but definitely there are things that are more frustrating. Trying to do business in Ghana as well as a woman, you know, there are certain places you walk into, they won't even mind you because, like, who are you? I think part of it sometimes is made worse because, for me personally, because they feel like I'm some small girl. Like, what are you doing here? Sometimes I do feel like that from people. I feel like if I had more stature about me, that maybe I would have a little bit more authority. Not a whole lot more, but a little bit more authority, right? Because one thing about Ghana is they do respect age, right? So if they feel like you are a certain age, then they give you another level of respect. So it's almost like there are layers to these things, you know. Right now, I'm a single woman by myself, like, psh, do you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't win you any brownie points, you know, at all. And then on top of it, you know, I'm not even Ghanaian. I'm from the UK, like that. So that's how they see me. I'm not Ghanaian. I'm from the UK. And so there are layers to these things, how you're going to be perceived, right? And then, so basically it just makes it a little bit harder. But there are things that do make being here in Ghana as a woman tough, like I said, business. And then just getting certain things done, it's just annoying. You know, like right now, I don't have a car, right? So when I go do my food shopping, I have to use an Uber to go and do it. And sometimes the Ubers can be, you know, they seem a little bit impatient. You can just tell there are sometimes things that they will be a bit more short-tempered with you over, I know if I was a man, you wouldn't be trying that. You know, that kind of thing. There are times when I've been like, you know, I've had people come and do estimates for me on the house. I've had to call my partner and be like, oh, speak to my partner on the phone to like sort this out. Like I like try to remove myself from certain situations, because if it's just me, I know exactly what is going to happen. So it's better as a woman. There are some things that it's better if a man fronts for you. Until Ghana changes their view on taking women seriously in that way, it's better for a man to front certain things for you. And yeah, that is a bit of a shame to say that, but that's literally how it is here. And I keep saying this, the sooner you get your head around how Ghana works and how the culture is like this, why it's like this, well, not even necessarily why, because you won't know why, it just is like this. It's time is backwards, right? So it's almost like in Ghana, there are certain things where we haven't developed yet. We've seen these things happen in the UK where, say in the UK or America, right? Where women have equal rights when it comes to certain things. Ghana is behind. So we haven't got there yet. Although I wouldn't say that you're at disadvantage being here as a woman, but I'm just saying things can be tougher for you as a woman. You know, sometimes, and I'm going to balance this out as well and say that sometimes when you're a woman, you also get advantage to certain things. Let's not forget that part too. Right, so there's some things that are harder. There's been times where, you know, the gas tanks, you fill your gas to do your cooking and stuff, right? Comes in this heavy cylinder. Like the thing is heavy. You know how many times like I've tried to lift it and like I can't lift it, and that's even when it's empty. Let alone when it's full, it's heavy. I think it's like. Is it like 20 kilos or 25 kilos? Like the thing is heavy. Like trying to take that and put it into Uber. I struggled with that. I've struggled with that so many times, being able to lift it, that, you know, sometimes I've had to ask the Uber guy, like, can you help me do this? Because I can't do it. I can't lift it myself. Sometimes you can see that like they're annoyed at the fact that I'm asking them to do that. And sometimes they'll happily do it. My workaround for that was to buy the fiberglass ones, which are a lot lighter. They can still be heavy once it's filled with gas, but they are a lot lighter than the proper heavy ones, the kot ones, or they're made of metal, right? And so there are certain things. So you do get some grace being a woman, but I wouldn't say it really disadvantages you too much. I wouldn't say. It's more annoying in certain aspects, because as I said in a previous video, it's not about them trying to rip you off like that. It's the culture, right? So it's like if they think they can get a bit more, they're going to get a bit more. So if they think, if they have the notion that women are more naive than men, they're going to try to get a bit more from you, if that makes sense. And that's how it is here. So it's more annoying, like I said, it's more annoying than it is a deliberate attempt at destroying you, if I can say that. Like I said as well, there are advantages to being a woman here, because it does buy you certain favors, right? Because Ghanaian men can be very gentlemanly when it comes to certain things, right? They will give you favor when it comes to certain things, you know, like in terms of like opening the door as you're coming through, you know, you have your shopping and they're like, oh, let me take the shopping for you. You know, like there's certain things that they will do where it's like, oh, you know, like they do go out of their way. They feel like you're struggling. There's been times I've walked down the road with my shopping bags and I see someone coming from somewhere. In fact, that's men and women. So they come running up to me and they're like, can I help you with your bags? I'm like, oh, no, it's okay, thank you. They're like, are you sure? You know, like they understand that someone shouldn't struggle. I remember some time ago, I was with my friend. This was, oh my gosh, this must have been like over 20 years ago. I remember coming to Ghana on holiday with some of my friends, right? And we saw this old man and he was struggling. He was just really old and he was just struggling. Like he had no one to help him. And then I remember I said to this guy that he was Ghanaian, he was with us. And I said, oh, it's so sad that he's by him. Like, where's his family? Because you don't often see older generations struggling to do things right. There's usually someone younger that will help, or, they're not usually by themselves. I was like, why is this man by himself struggling like this? And then the person said to me, he must be a very wicked man, because in Ghana, we don't have that culture where we leave old people to do whatever they're doing and let them struggle, unless they've done something to be in that position. And I was just like, wow. Like, it just opened my eyes. Like, I've never forgotten when he said that, because it just opened my eyes to so many things, because Ghana is a very helpful place. Ghanaians will always help. You can always ask for help when it comes to certain things. If you can't do something and no one's offered to help you, you can always ask for help. There's been times where I've struggled to do stuff. I remember I was trying to order water once, and there was a whole commotion going on. It wasn't anything that bad that was happening. It was just there was a lot of people, trying to work out how we're going to get the pipe to the back. And, I was the thing's leaking, and, there was just a lot. And then the guy that lives opposite me, he was just a worker there, right? He came across, and then he came to help. Do you know what I'm saying? So there are elements where people will help you. And I believe he came to help because I was a woman. I don't think necessarily that he would have come across if I was a man, because I feel like he would have perhaps felt like I would have been able to handle it. But it's not that I couldn't handle the situation. He just came as support, and you will find that, especially when you live in a particular area and people get to know you, they do come to your aid if you need help. They can see that something unusual is happening, and so they will help you. And so I've had times like that where people have been like, oh, are you okay? So being a woman is not necessarily a disadvantage. There are some people that will try to take advantage of the fact that you are a woman. But honestly, it hasn't really affected me. I think it can be hard. I think that the most times that I've seen it be a problem for me is when it comes to construction. I think in that sense, there's been times where I've asked for something to be done a certain way, and then oh, where's your husband? I'm like, no, I'm telling you to do it like this. Things like that can be frustrating. But aside from that, I would say it hasn't really been a problem for me. As I said, safety has always been pretty good for me. I don't feel any type of way going up and down. In fact, when I've gone out late at night, I actually feel more protected by the guys that are around than feeling any type of fear, because a lot of them have been they want to see if I'm okay. Do you know what I'm saying? If I'm leaving a club, the guys, the bouncers will watch to make sure you get to the car all right. They're especially when they start to know you, when you start to form relationships in certain places, they'll look after you, make sure that you're okay. And that's not to say that bad things cannot happen here. They don't happen here. Yeah, there are. And obviously, just like anywhere in the world, you walk into the wrong neighborhood, you're going to cause yourself a problem. So I would say that Ghana is more about being street smart with certain things. If you don't know certain areas, don't go and take yourself there, because you don't know what it is. There are some places that you can't just step into, right? If you don't know somebody. I'm not going to say any areas, okay, because I don't want people to jump down my neck. But I know, because I have been to particular areas, I've hung out in certain areas, and I was told by the people there, who are guys, who said to me, if it wasn't for us, you couldn't be here right now. And because they give, they're well known in that community, and they give you a certain level of protection, but they're like, you can't walk up and down the street here by yourself like that. Don't try it. If you're here with us, you can be here, but don't try and come here by yourself. And you only need to say it to me once. After he said that, I was like, okay, I get it. Do you know what I'm saying? Places like that, daytime is not so bad, but evening time, you don't want to be seen in certain areas. Again, just like certain places in the West, you wouldn't go to at night. There's areas that don't be silly. You go to that area that you're asking for a problem. Why are you there? It doesn't make any sense. So it's really very much about being street smart here. But in terms of being able to get things done as a woman, it's possible. You just have to come here, find your footing, find what works for you, find your routine, find your people. And once you start to establish that, being here is not a problem. You're not going to have issues with anything. I'd say the most issues that you're going to have, and that's not even necessarily because you're a woman, but maybe they'll make it a bit harder for you, maybe they'll charge you a little bit more, is having to do with certain institutions where they feel like they, again, like I said before, they can take advantage of you because you may not know what you're doing. That's the assumption, that you don't know what you're doing. But the minute they see that there's a man involved in your process, then it becomes a different thing. So a lot of people, to help them overcome some of these barriers, they front things with a man first. You know, calling up businesses, you let a man call for you first and speak to the person and make sure that he has made it very well known that he's in the picture here. And I like, sometimes what you can do is, I'm not going to be there, but my wife is going to be at that house. So when you get there, tell her, or she will tell you what to do, so that they know not to take advantage because there is a man who is present. Now, when they know there is no man present, that's when they will try certain things. And so it's easier if you front certain things with a man. It just makes your life easier. And although we don't want to admit that this is what is going to work for you, that's just how it is. You know, Ghana is a place where you very much have to meet them where they are. Okay, so although it may be outrageous to think that women have to front things with a man first before they're able to do what they need to do, yeah, it is unfortunate, but like I said, meet them where they are. This is the system as it is right now. And until things change and until things develop, you have to deal with it like this. There's no point in getting angry. There's no point in being upset or trying to, you know, like burn your bra and say, like, we have rights. That's not going to work, because you'll be surprised that some of the local women also believe that you are beneath the man in that respect. And this is like a bit tricky to say, but some women here are very traditional women. So they believe that, why are you in that role? That's the role for a man. Like, you're doing construction, but it's for a man. Like, you're not going to find many local Ghanaian women doing construction. And things are changing. You know, now we're seeing things like Uber, where you're seeing women drivers. Before, there was no woman driver. I remember the first time I saw a woman Uber driver, I was like shocked. I opened the door, I saw a woman, I was like, hey, because it wasn't something you're used to. Now, if a woman driver comes up, it's like, it's nothing. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's taking time for Ghana to move. And that's why I always say that opportunities exist in Ghana, because Ghana is like doing time travel backwards. So things haven't got to a point where the place is saturated. Now you can't create this business. It's not like that. It's in the past still. So it's almost like Doctor Who, right? You've been to the future. You've seen certain things. So now come back and implement them in Ghana, because Ghana hasn't caught up yet. So that's where your opportunity is. I don't want to digress too much, but Ghana is full of opportunity, and I would say ahead of some other African countries, not all, some other African countries, just because Ghana has certain advantages. For example, English is widely spoken here, so even if you don't speak a language, you can pretty much still maneuver and do what you need to do here. So setting up a business is not hard. There are ways around things. You can buy and own land and property here. You know, it is pretty much a gateway to being able to live a whole new life, if that's what you want to do here. So I would say, although it can be a disadvantage for women to be here and have to deal with certain things that are irritating, trying to set up a business as a woman, you know, they're not taking you seriously, you're trying to get your paperwork registered, you're trying to do this, and it's a struggle. Yes, it is, but we also benefit in certain ways too. So although it is annoying, there are benefits to it right now, but at some point, Ghana will catch up. It's going to take more years, but Ghana will catch up to, I don't want to say some of the ways of the West, because Ghana will never change and be the West, but it will get to a place where things do become saturated, right? Because certain principles from the West have been indoctrinated now into Ghana. You know, and that's going to happen. And when that happens, there are certain privilege that we can have as women where we can pretend like, oh, we don't know how to do this, right? That's not going to work anymore. Because how many times can you get away with that in the West? Sometimes you can get away with the West, but really it's like, well, some men believe in they're feminists now. So if you're going after a certain, like, this is the attitude, right? So if you're going after a particular job, say you want to you want to work as a, what you call it? A mechanic. You want to be a mechanic. You want to be a woman mechanic. Okay, that's cool. Be a woman mechanic. But don't ask a man to come and lift this thing for you, because this is the job that you want to do. We're talking about equal rights here. So as a woman, lift it then. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the I'm not saying that's my attitude or whatever, right? I'm not giving my opinion here. But I'm saying that's the kind of attitude that some people have. Like, okay, you want equal rights, and it should be across the board. It shouldn't be equal rights in this, but not equal rights here. If it's equal rights cut across. So the West has kind of lost that, where, like I said, people believe in feminism. So then carry it. You're a woman, carry it. So you don't need me. I'm a man. Like, you don't need me to do these things for you. And so that's how the West is. Ghana is not like that. Ghana is like, they see you carrying something, oh, let me help you. Let me help you. Like, Ghana has that caring culture. You need to see it even amongst the local people. When you see the hawkers, right, who are the people that carry things on their heads, you'll see very much like when they're trying to take it off, someone will run up to them and help them bring the thing down and help them lift it back up when they're ready, because they know that the thing is heavy. The woman, she's got a baby on her back and she's hawking. She's doing this, like, there is a level of compassion there, which I would say there's a compassion here that we don't even have in the UK. Like, there is compassion in the UK, but not to that level. Not like that. Like, as I said in the previous video, you know, we from the UK, we can be very cold when it comes to certain things. Like, you just walk past people like, I don't know you. But Ghana's not like that. Ghana is very much, well, you know, we are one. We're trying to help each other. I can't, like, most men will not see a woman struggle, because the first thing they see is they see their mother or they see their sister, and they don't like that. And so therefore they intervene and they help where they can help, you know. So that's the culture of Ghana. So being here as a single woman has its advantages, disadvantages, but overall I would say it's not a disadvantage. You can pretty much do anything that you want to do here. I've never seen it really as a disadvantage, apart from it sometimes being annoying. I don't think it's really stops me being able to do anything that I want to do. And even if there is a little bit of a blockage, there's always a way you can navigate around it. So that's never stopped me. So I would say Ghana is all good for women. I wouldn't say, oh, if you're traveling to Ghana as a single woman, be careful, be careful. It's not like going to some other countries where, you know, if you're a woman, you know, you could be a target. I don't see Ghana as that way. I see Ghana as a very, very safe place to live. It's a great place to raise children, set your roots here. And there are lots of benefits to being here. So yeah, that's all I've got to say. But I would love to hear in the comment section if you have experienced anything other than what I've spoken about, or maybe if you can relate to some of the things I'm saying. Yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to say. So I'm going to end the video right there. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Don't forget to also like, comment and share this video. Until next time, I am out.